Good morning. It is Wednesday, June 11th, hump day, give and trade review for today. One trade today, and this one was a bit of a wrestle, and I had to make a decision. It was an appropriate decision and it went in my favor, but that doesn't mean it will always go in your favor. Pre market was yellow, but slightly green, and NVIDIA. I got in my one trade was a call, strike price $144, and I got in at 9:31. So this candle right here was where I got in, and depending upon where I got in on this wick, I was not fast enough to get out on the signal that I received, but you could see these wicks. Like that wick was tough. This was just a long, wide body candle. I did get in though at 9:31 and things were not going well. It was dropping, dropping, dropping. And this is where I have to make a decision with my risk management. And I'm like, whoa, this one is different than it was yesterday. And I said, all right, when it gets to 20%, if I hit the 20% mark, I have to decide what I'm going to do. I got down to a 20% right around I believe it was about in here, either 9:35 or 9:36. And I'm like, well, you got to make a decision. I averaged once. And with that average, I needed to be able to get out whatever my price was. My premium that I got in on was like $2.30. And when I averaged, I need to get out at anything above a premium of $2.04. And I looked at the longer charts. I looked to see what was happening. Things were still in a way, but it did not get to that 20% again. And it just started hovering, hovering and hovering and hovering. And it hovered for a while, and then it started to go back up. And I was able to get out at 10:30 with the win. Got out right there. That was, a lot of intestinal fortitude just to, see. But I felt confident. I said, I'm not going to freak out. Let me just look at these longer charts, see if things are getting ready to turn around. And things turned around, but it did take a while for those things to turn around. I'm not doing any more trades. I said, that's it. I don't need to do anything else. I was able to get that win. But when I look back, that entry was not as perfect. And, getting in on that, it filled of course, I placed the order for 9:30, but it didn't fill until 9:31. And that can happen. So I have to be mindful of that. And then it is using your skills to determine what is going to be your next move. And that move did work out for me. I'm happy for that. I am going to go and finish the rest of my day. Everybody enjoy. I'll be back tomorrow.